I mean, it happens like that. I don't know about other countries, but the country I live in, it really does happen. All right, you could be in school for 4 years, all right, and finish and develop a skill for 6 months, and that skill will pay you better than the certificate you got from going to school for 4 years. All right, so the time it takes you to develop a skill should not be a major factor of how much you are going to charge a client. All right. Hi guys, welcome to Think Growth. My name is Kunle once again, and thank you for joining us on today's episode. All right, this is Think Growth, and on Think Growth will help you grow in different phases of your life, your financial life, your academic life, your relationship life, your career, and even your spiritual life. All right, all round growth, right? So we share experiences, we share ideas that help your growth. So, welcome to our channel. If you are just coming here for the first time, remember to subscribe. If you have been here before, you are returning, remember to like and share this video. So, today I want to talk about freelancers. All right. Personally, I'm a freelancer, and then in this Nigeria that I stay in Nigeria. One of the sweetest things is working from home, and I think it's like that around the world. Working from home is actually a very sweet thing. I mean, everybody just wants to make money from their house. Though some people don't like it, they like to, go out to work. But several people want to make money from house. And for a couple of years now, I've been doing freelance. I've done freelance as a web developer. I've done freelance as a graphic designer. I've done freelance as a writer, professional writer. As a matter of fact, I did that for years. And as a video editor, I've done freelance for that. I've done freelance for creating presentations, and currently I'm a freelancer. I edit pictures or I edit photos, and then as a freelancer, one of the things that I believe it's difficult is how to actually get clients, or getting clients and retaining clients. All right, so I see other freelancers out there that are so good. They know their onions. They are very good at this job, but getting clients has been really difficult. Some they build themselves, they develop their skill, but they couldn't make money because it was difficult getting clients. So today I want to talk about how to set your price in a way that you are going to get clients and of course retain clients, because I believe that one of the major issue that freelancers have, that I've seen, the ones that I've met personally and few that I've talked to, is they don't know how to set price. And some set price in a way that immediately they tell the client the price, the client disappear. You won't see them again. Why some set the price in a way that the client underpay them. So some are afraid of being underpaid. Because of that, they set ridiculous price and they lose the client. They lose the client. All right. So how do you actually set price in a way that you are going to get the client and retain the client, and of course you are going to survive? You are not just going to be doing it for passion or something. You are going to you make money and live off it. I live 100% off freelance. All right, I don't know my clients for next week, I don't know my clients for next month, but I know I'll get a client. I'll get client because I know how to push my advert out there. I developed my skill to this point. All right. So, I mean, developing your skills over the years, you know this thing so well. You're perfect, you can do the job, but you're not making money from it. I mean, it's not encouraging. Today, I want to share with you 6 things that should never determine your price. All right, and one thing that should determine your price. I want to talk several mistakes that I know freelancers are doing. I want to talk about it. The mistakes that freelancers are actually making in this process, and it's a grievous blunder. I mean, they are really doing it and it's killing them. So I want to talk about it. 6 things that should not determine your price as a freelancer. 6 things that should not, and of course one thing, Jara, to make it 7, that you should consider. Just that one thing you should consider when you determine your price. And I feel if you go through this process, you won't have to be afraid of being underpaid, and then you won't have to be afraid of giving a client price rate that's going to chase them away. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Number one is cost. All right, number one out of the 6 is cost. Costs should not determine your rate. How much you're going to charge a client should not be determined by the cost of delivering that service. Now, I'm sure Some of you will have think that, why would you say that? I mean, I spent a lot to do this, do that, and it should not determine my price. Now, let me tell you why. Before I tell you why, what is actually cost? All right, what is cost of what is cost in freelance? Now, cost in freelance is the cost incurred by the freelancer, which include expenses such as softwares, equipment, electricity. I mean, things that are directly related to the project. Right. Cost is things that you actually acquire. Let's say the software you use for the particular job, the equipment you use, electricity and everything. I mean, the cost of actually doing. Let's say you are doing the job and within a day. Let's say you are a writer and it takes you a whole day to prepare the particular document. All right. So cost should be the how much you spend on electricity, how much you spend on maybe a particular software you are using, or if you subscribe to any service online, how much those cost, how much all the cost is. Now, I'm here to bust your bubble. The cost of all these things should not determine your price. Now, why? The reason is because there could be other freelancers out there that have access to all these things for free or very, very cheap than you. All right. So you want to be sure that you are not using this thing to determine your price. All right, don't consider the cost, all right, of delivering this thing. Do not consider the cost. I know you will think in your mind that what if I give them the price or a rate that is lower than how much it costs me to deliver it? You don't need to worry about that. Do not let cost determine how much you are going to charge your client. If the cost of getting the job done is the major factor that determines how much you are going to charge your clients, you might be shooting yourself on the leg, all right? Because the job might actually be worth more than how much you estimated it to be. Let's say it costs you about 10,000 naira to prepare a document, or $10 to prepare a document. That kind of jobs might actually deserve like $1,000. All right. So if you use the cost of delivering it to actually determine how much you're going to charge, you might actually be shooting yourself on the leg. All right. That is number one. Number two, if it costs you 10,000 naira or $10 to actually get the job done, and you charge, let's say, 20,000 naira or $20, again, that is not even a good one. Now let's not say you charge below the cost. It is not still a good one. All right. So don't let cost be the factor that you use to actually determine this price. Now I'm sure you are curious that, then if I don't use cost, then what should I use? Maybe you should calm down and watch this video to the end, because I'm going to share with you the major factor. With that being said, let's go to number two. Number two, time taken to deliver. All right. Time taken. Now what is time taken to deliver? Time taken to deliver is the length of time required to complete the project. It includes research, development, revision, and final delivery. All right. So time taken to deliver that job, it's actually crucial. I mean, it's really important, because some jobs might take you several days, some might just take a couple of hours. All right. So if you use the time that you use to get the job done to determine the rate, you might be in error. All right, because some public speaker charge millions per hour. All right. They talk for 1 hour and they charge in millions. All right. Now, for some people to make that kind of money, they might have to work for, I mean, days. All right. Now, the amount some people actually collect at the end of the month after working is what some people collect for 2 hour service. All right. So you don't use the time that you spend to deliver it to actually determine the rate. All right. If you do that, there might be issue, because they might be underpaying you. And then again, if you consider how much time it's going to take you to get the job done, to determine the price, if you can overstate it, and before you know it, clients are going to run away. All right. So it shouldn't be your major determination. Don't let the time, you see, jobs that takes a day, jobs that takes 10 days, the one that takes 10 days might be cheaper than the one that takes a day. All right. And then again, you want to consider that it takes you years to develop this skill. I don't know the kind of skill you have, but personally, it takes me long time to develop this my skills of editing pictures. All right. So if I do the job in like an hour, I'm going to charge a lot, because it is not just by 1 hour job. I've been taking years of developing myself. It takes years of sacrifice, of dedication, of learning. I mean, it takes a lot. All right. So the time taken to deliver the job should not be the determinant of the price. All right, it should not be. It should not be. It should. If it is, that will be issue. You might give price. You might give clients price that will make them run away, or otherwise you might give a price, and at the end of the day you realize that you are being underpaid. So don't let the time of delivery be a determinant for your rates. Now let's go to number three. Number three is the market price. All right, market price. Now, what is the market price? Market price is the prevailing market rate for similar services produced by other freelancers or agencies. This factor helps to ensure competitive pricing while considering the value and expertise offered. Now, if you consider how much other people are charging, which is the market price, to determine your price, that might be issue as well. Because the thing is, um, it is a competitive market. All right, you are not the only one doing this job. It is a competitive market. Let's say, for instance, you are a writer. You are not the only writer out there. There are thousands of writers around the world that can be outsourced for the job. All right, so if writers are charging, let's say, 100,000 naira or $100 for a 5 pages article, if you charge the same thing and you don't have records, you don't have reputation like them, you will chase the client away. That's just the truth. All right, let's say I come to you, I needed to edit video and I come to you, or I needed to do a graphics and I come to that. Okay, do this job for me. All right, um if you give me the market price of what someone that has been doing it for a longer time, that has a bigger reputation, that has done for bigger brands, if you give me the same price the person will give me, I'm going to leave and go to that person. All right, this issue actually happened to most upcoming guys that are just learning that skill, or that has learned the skill but doesn't have much portfolio out there. All right, they tend to look at the market price, and the price you are using to compare your own. The people's price, they have been in that business for a long time. They've been in the game for a very long time, right? I mean, they've been doing this thing for a long time, but you are just starting. All right, so you can't compete with them. Even if your job is up to their standard, you can't charge like them. All right, we can't nullify the idea of price discrimination in the world we live in. All right, the same table water that you buy somewhere for a price, you get it like 10 times the price in other places. Right? Why? Because other places that sell it at that amount, they've built reputation. They know their onions. I mean, you can't just use that price at all. It's not going to work. All right, it's not just going to work. Do not look at the market price. Say, okay, people are charging this. That's how much I'm going to charge. It's okay to have the information of what people are charging. Number four is the client's ability to pay. Do not let client's ability to pay determine how much you charge clients. All right, the client's ability to pay should not be the prerequisite of how much you are charging. Now, what is client's ability to pay? Client's ability to pay is the financial capacity of the client to afford the freelancer service. This factor takes into account the client's budget, resources, and overall financial situation. Right, now watch me. If you are working with big brands, all right, let's say the client is big, they have the money. I mean, don't use that to determine what your price will be. All right, now there are some of us that we are doing a regular job, all right, and we are charging a regular price. So when we see clients that we know they can pay more, we want to charge them higher and still deliver regular price. No. Now there are some of us that are doing premium jobs, all right. And then when we see client that can't pay much, all right, we compromise our prices so that we just do the job and get the money and move. And it shouldn't work that way, all right. Client's ability to pay should not be the factor that you are using to determine the rates that you're going to charge client. If you are using the ability to pay, let's say you see that, okay, this client is rich, I'm going to charge higher. This one is not so rich, and I'm going to charge this particular amount. If you are doing that, you'll be shooting yourself on the leg, all right? Because not all rich clients are willing to just throw money out there. They are not willing to just hand you an handout. It's not gonna happen. All right, and there are some clients that are not so rich, they are not so buoyant, all right, but they know the value of that service and they are willing to pay you for it. I mean, they will pay you without even negotiating. All right, so don't let clients' ability to pay, whether they are rich or they are not so much rich, whether it's a big brand or a small brand, don't let it determine how much you are going to charge clients for jobs. All right, now with that being said, let's go to point five. Number five is time that it takes you to actually develop the skill. Now, like I said earlier, I mean, it takes me a long now it takes me long to actually develop my skill as a freelancer. Now, what is time taking to develop the skill? The investment of time, effort, and resources made by the freelancer to acquire and enhance the necessary skill and expertise needed to deliver high quality job is the time required to develop the skill. All right. Now, I don't know how long it takes you to develop your skill. I know it could take quite a while. It takes a lot of effort, resources, a lot of learning, a lot of sleepless nights and all. Now, that should not determine how much you are going to charge your clients. I'm so sorry. It shouldn't. Right. All right. Um, to earn a degree in the country I stay, let's say a bachelor's degree, is 4 years. All right, you can actually finish with that degree and earn a job that pays you like 100,000 naira, which is equivalent to $100 per month. All right, monthly. But you could actually develop a skill in 6 months. That kind of money, you can earn it in like a month. No, did I say month? A week. The money that your certificate that it takes you 4 years to acquire, the money is going to earn you in a month. A skill that you learn in 6 months, all right, can pay you that kind of money in a week. I mean, it happens like that. I don't know about other countries, but the country I live in, it really does happen. All right, you could be in school for 4 years, all right, and finish and develop a skill for 6 months, and that skill will pay you better than the certificate you got from going to school for 4 years. All right, so the time it takes you to develop a skill should not be a major factor of how much you are going to charge a client. All right, availability of other freelancers, availability of other freelancers. Now, what does this mean? What does it actually mean? Availability of other freelancers is the presence and availability of other freelancers or competitors offering similar service in the market. This factor can influence rates, strategies, and competitiveness. Now, you are not the only one that has a skill in this world. All right, let's be factual here. Let's be real. All right, you are not the only writer. You are not the only graphic designer. You are not the only one doing that job. All right, there are many other people doing it. All right, so if you feel like probably you are the only one that the client has access to get the job done, that should not determine how much you are going to charge them. You can't hold client for ransom. It's not gonna work. You can't hold them for ransom. All right, they will go out there and get someone else. All right. So if you look at around, if you look around and you feel like okay, there are not so many people doing this job, don't let that determine how much you charge clients. All right. So if you feel like you are the only one doing it, or not there's not much people around doing it. All right. If you look at that to determine your rate, you're going to be in error. All right. Or if you look if you look at it in the sense that there are so much people doing this, there's so much video editor out there, there's so much photo editor out there, there's so much freelancers, there are so much guys that can handle this job. Because of that, you're now charging less. You'll be in error again, because the fact that so many people are doing it does not mean the skill is less valuable. No, it doesn't mean so. All right, so don't use that to determine it. All right, don't use it to determine it. Now, having said all these factors that you should not use, what should you now use to actually determine rates that you're going to charge clients? Now, listen very, very carefully. Listen very carefully. What should determine how much you are going to charge clients? How much your clients pay? What should determine it? Is merely what you need to actually keep the freelance business going. All right. If you are doing freelance, how much you charge a client should only be the amount that is required for you to keep the business going. Now, what do I mean by this? You want to look at what you need to survive, all right? Okay, now I know some of us are doing this freelance on several platforms such as Upwork and Fiverr and other platform, all right? But this platform, they yes, of course, they pay you and you have to really work hard. You have to do many things to keep getting more jobs. But let's say you stand alone yourself, like me. I don't work under any platform. I go direct to look for my clients. All right. What you want to charge our clients will be exactly based on what you need to keep your freelance going. All right. Now, what do I mean by that? If you just develop a skill, all right, and then you are not so you are good at the skill, Okay, let me start with this. If you just develop a skill and you are not sure you are so good at the skill yet, but yet you still want to make money with it, you reach out to clients. And if you reach out to people and they are not willing to work with you because they feel like you don't have portfolio for the job, how about offering free service? By the time you offer one or two free services, through that you can get referral. All right, so you need that to keep the freelance going. All right, you need to offer free service. So with that you can build portfolio to put on your social media, to put on your LinkedIn, so that yes, of course, they can see that okay, you can do this thing. All right, so when people start seeing it and you see that okay, people start coming for the job, then you start charging as little as you know anyone can pay. All right, you want to charge very little. All right, you want to charge very, you don't use the cost of doing the job, or the time it takes you, or time it takes to develop. You don't use all those things. You want to charge exactly how much you know that client will pay, and they will not go. All right, so that's the price you want you want to charge them. All right, so when you see that people are now willing to pay that amount, and then you start getting clients, just keep charging that amount and let the clients keep coming. When you see that you can't meet up with the client again, then you upgrade your price. Some clients will go, some will stay, and some will come. All right, when you see that you're having so much client and you can't meet up again, you upgrade your price. All right, then some clients will go, because of course some will not be able to afford you. Then some will stay. Why? New clients will come. That is how to determine your price. All right, don't use all those factors, the factors I mentioned earlier, don't use them. All right, what you use is what you just need to keep the freelance business going. All right, if you use market price to determine your price when you are just starting, even though you are good at the job, you can do it perfectly, you are a pro. All right, we know you are good at it. I mean, you shouldn't use it. It should not be the factor that you are going to use. Is that okay? So you don't want to use that. You want to use the price that will keep the freelance business going. All right. So when people ask how much do you charge for this particular job, your answer should be checking how much they can afford to pay. All right. When you see that okay, this person can afford to pay so amount, okay, let's have it. Let me do this job. You keep doing it at that amount. The reason why you have to do it this way is so that you can put your value out there. All right, you can put your value out there. If you start doing it free or cheap, all right, and then you start getting clients, it gives you opportunity to build your portfolio, build your reputation, and of course, build your online presence so that people will know you, that you do that. All right, so from there you start getting new clients, and when you see that the clients are coming in and there are a lot of them and you can't meet up, then you upgrade your price. All right, you upgrade in a way that you know that some will leave and some will stay. All right, so the upgraded price will complement for the client that left. All right, so you keep doing that again, you keep building your portfolio. When you see that more clients are coming, you can't meet up, you increase it again. You need to watch the way client is looking for you, the kind of value you offer. You want to watch if how people actually react to it. All right, so don't determine those things yourself. Let factors determine this for you. Factors out there, the client, how people are coming to you. It is the demand that determines price. It is not the value of the product. I mean, that is what we learned in economics. It is the demand that determines the price. It is not how good the product. As a matter of fact, some products are sold below their cost of production. They are, when there are no demand for it. So you want to keep the freelance going. All right. So what we enable you to do that is when you set a price that will keep clients coming. And that price does not have to be depending on the cost. It doesn't have to depend on the market price. It doesn't have to depend on what other people are charging. All right. It doesn't have to depend on all those factors I mentioned earlier. It should be determined by how much client is coming to you. When the clients increase, you upgrade the price. That is how you can keep the freelance going. All right, I've seen many freelancers that when they start, they just couldn't sustain it, and they are good at this thing. They are so good. I mean, some are they have fantastic skills, but they can't make money because they don't understand how these things work. All right, so don't be too greedy. Just calm down. Calm down. All right, follow the process. Let the demand for your value, the demand for your skill, let it determine the price for you. And gradually you keep upgrading it as you are building your portfolio. You keep improving, you keep upgrading, you keep putting yourself out there, and before you know it, I mean, everybody knows you, and you're making your money. All right, so that is that on the setting price as a freelancer. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you are here for the first time, remember to subscribe, because we are going to be having more episodes on helping you grow in your career, relationship, and so on and so forth. So you don't want to miss it. So subscribe and share this video and give it thumbs up. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video.